Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really getting into something pretty fascinating and honestly a bit mind-bending. We're looking at the future of our cities, how we live, how we move, and how technology is just completely changing the game. I've been looking through these sources, and wow, there's a lot. We've got these huge new city ideas, autonomous trains, self-driving cars, how our social spots are changing, even, believe it or not, cities on other planets.
It's quite a mix, from the super practical to the really out there.
Exactly. So our mission today is to pull out the key insights, the surprising stuff from all this material to help you kind of make sense of these, well, really exciting visions for tomorrow's cities. Okay, so let's dive straight into maybe the most audacious one, NEOM's The Line in Saudi Arabia.
Yes, the line.
It's not just a city plan, is it? They call it vertical urbanism, like this giant mirrored structure. It really makes you rethink what a city even is.
It really does. The scale is just immense.
Yeah.
The sources say 170 kilometers long.
170 kilometers.
Yeah, and 500 meters high, but only 200 meters wide. And get this, it's designed for 9 million people.
9 million in that footprint.
Right, on just 34 square kilometers,
Right.
which is tiny for that population. The idea is preserving 95% of the land around it for nature.
So the complete opposite of urban sprawl.
Exactly, a direct counterpoint, like you said.
And the plans, they're very clear. No roads, no cars, zero emissions.
And running on 100% renewable energy. That's a core part of the concept.
So what does that mean for, just getting around living day to day?
Well, the promise is that everything you need, shops, work, parks, is within a 5-minute walk.
Okay.
And for longer distances, there's a high-speed rail, end-to-end, the whole 170 kilometers, in supposedly just 20 minutes.
20 minutes? That's incredible compared to commutes in most major cities today.
Absolutely. And it gets even more futuristic. They talk about it being a cognitive city.
Cognitive, meaning?
Meaning services powered by AI, artificial intelligence that, predicts and reacts to what people need.
Like what? Give me an example.
Yeah. Okay, imagine elevators just sort of waiting for you. Or city services knowing when demand will spike and adjusting automatically. It's meant to be seamless.
And how do they plan to actually build something this huge?
The sources mention a modular approach, like an assembly kit, they call it, for efficiency. And interestingly, a big goal is better healthcare, preventative healthcare, aiming for people to live longer lives.
Right. So zooming out, the line isn't just tech for tech's sake. It's positioned as an answer to problems cities face now: livability, environment.
Precisely. Addressing those crises head on. It's a very bold vision for a smart, sustainable future.
Okay, so the line is this huge, almost sci-fi vision. But what about changes happening like right now or very soon? Let's talk mobility. The sources mention the Johor Elevated Autonomous Rapid Transit, the e-art project in Malaysia. That sounds pretty concrete.
It is. It's a major project, about US $1.65 billion. And it's designed to handle Johor Bahru's growing transportation needs. It also connects with the cross-border system to Singapore, the RTS.
So it's boosting capacity.
Significantly. We're talking 5,000 to 12,000 passengers per hour, each way. Across 3 lines, 32 stations, and a key thing, it's elevated.
So it avoids the traffic jams on the ground.
Exactly. It sidesteps that whole congestion issue that plagues so many cities.
Okay, so ERT is one example. But this connects to the bigger picture of autonomous vehicles, right? AVs. What's the prediction there?
Well, one source predicts AVs could handle up to half, 50% of all road travel by 2040.
Half. That's huge. What does that actually mean for us?
It could mean a lot less people owning cars, for one, which could ease traffic jams quite a bit. It definitely encourages ride sharing. And a big one is safety, reducing accidents by taking human error out of the equation. Mostly.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the impact on the city itself, the physical space.
Oh, potentially transformative.
Yeah.
Think about all the space currently used for roads and parking.
Right, like that huge parking lot near you.
Oh.
What happens to it?
Exactly. It could become a park, maybe community space, housing. Roads themselves could get narrower, making room for bike lanes or green spaces.
Buildings might need redesigning for easy drop-offs. Maybe fewer gas stations, different kinds of garages.
All of that. The sources point to about 5 key infrastructure changes needed for AVs.
Okay, like what?
Well, smart roads, first off. Roads with sensors built in, talking to the cars.
Right.
Then intelligent traffic lights that adjust in real time. Dedicated lanes just for AVs, possibly.
Makes sense for efficiency.
Definitely. Plus, interconnected systems, everything talking to everything else. And, of course, places for AVs, especially electric ones, to charge or get serviced.
And this ties back into sustainability, too, I guess. Greener cities.
Yes, AVs can be programmed to drive much more efficiently. Smooth acceleration, braking, that reduces fuel consumption and emissions. So yeah, cleaner air, greener cities.
So we've got these high-tech visions, AVs changing everything. But what about just, walking?
Ah, walkability,
Yeah.
yeah.
The sources use Kathmandu as an example here, and it sounds pretty striking.
It really is. Historically, those cities in the Kathmandu Valley were built for walking. And even in 2012, walking was still like 40% of how people got around.
It's a lot.
It is. But it dropped by over 23% in 2 decades. Why? Because development overwhelmingly favored cars, made walking harder, less safe.
And the consequence.
Sadly, Kathmandu is now ranked among the least walkable cities in Asia. And pedestrians, they account for almost half, up to 49% of road deaths there.
Wow. That really drives home the importance of designing for people, not just cars.
Absolutely. Prioritizing walking saves lives, it makes streets safer, helps local businesses, cuts down on fossil fuels, improves air quality, public health.
It just makes cities nicer places to be, more equitable, too. There's that great quote from Jan Gale.
Right, the urban architect.
Well,
He said prioritizing walking is actually also the cheapest policy.
because the payoff in health and quality of life is huge compared to the cost of building massive car infrastructure.
Exactly. And there are efforts to improve things in Kathmandu, thankfully. The KSUTP project aims to pedestrianize about 8 kilometers of heritage routes, improve sidewalks,
Okay, that's positive.
and making areas like Thamel vehicle restricted, which, interestingly, something like 85% of tourists surveyed actually supported.
So people want more walkable spaces.
Hmm?
Okay, shifting gears a bit, we've talked about moving, but what about connecting socially?
Right, the third place.
Explain that concept. It's not just home or work, right?
Exactly. Third places are those other spots where people gather and socialize. Traditionally, cafes, bars, parks, libraries, community centers, physical places.
And that's changing.
Massively. The internet has created whole new kinds of third places. Online communities are huge now.
Like social media, Facebook, X, TikTok.
Yep. And forums like Reddit, you have thousands of subreddits that are basically virtual hangouts, even video games.
Video games is third places.
Oh, absolutely. Think World of Warcraft, Fortnite, Animal Crossing. People don't just play. They socialize, build friendships, sometimes globally. It's a real social space for many.
And then there are these hybrid spaces, the sources mention, where the physical and digital kind of blend.
Yeah, like a cafe with Wi-Fi. People are physically together, but also interacting online. Or think about live events that are streamed, so digital audiences participate alongside the physical ones.
And technologies like AR, augmented reality, push that further.
Right, like Pokemon Go, where you're out in the real world, but interacting with the digital layer overlaid on top of it, it really merges those realities.
Okay, so that digital layer brings us nicely to the metaverse.
Mm-hmm.
What are the experts saying about that? Is it the next big thing, or?
Well, it's interesting. That Pew Research study found that just over half, 54% of the experts they asked, believe that by 2040, the metaverse will be a pretty normal, immersive part of daily life for, say, 500 million people or more.
500 million.
Okay.
Yeah, but immersive how? Like full VR headsets all the time.
That's the interesting part. While they see the metaverse becoming significant, many experts felt that augmented reality, AR, and mixed reality, MR, would actually dominate daily use.
So less like being totally in a virtual world and more like having digital information overlaid onto our real world, like directions appearing on your glasses.
Exactly. More integrated into reality rather than replacing it completely. That seemed to be a strong feeling among the experts.
But it's not all positive, right? The
Right.
sources mentioned concerns.
Oh, definitely. Big concerns were raised. Things like addiction, people becoming more isolated socially, the potential for way more surveillance.
Data privacy, digital divide.
Yeah, widening the gap between those who have access and those who don't, and even worries that these platforms could, amplify negative human traits. So real downsides to consider.
There was also that mention of digital twins. What's that about?
That's a fascinating, maybe slightly unnerving concept. Basically, a super detailed digital replica of an individual.
A replica of Missy, my health data.
Potentially, yes. The idea is it could revolutionize healthcare. Doctors could model how a specific drug might affect your digital twin before prescribing it to you, or predict your risk for certain diseases years ahead.
Wow, personalized medicine on a whole new level.
Yeah,
But the data,
exactly. Huge ethical questions. Who owns that twin? How is it used? Experts definitely warned about digital systems turning people into essentially data mines and maybe even impacting our free will.
okay, deep breaths.
Yeah,
Let's go from digital twins to floating cities on Venus.
right. The ultimate speculative jump.
I mean, Venus,
Uh-uh.
isn't it? Hellish.
The surface is, absolutely. Acid rain, crushing pressure, extreme heat. But the idea isn't to live on the surface, it's to live in the clouds.
Floating cities. Seriously.
Seriously. The sources lay out some arguments. Venus is closer than Mars, for starters.
Okay.
And there's a layer in its atmosphere about 54 kilometers up where the temperature and pressure are surprisingly Earth-like.
Really, Earth-like.
Relatively speaking, yes.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere is so dense up there that just regular Earth air, breathable air inside a habitat would actually float, like a balloon.
Huh.
Plus, that thick atmosphere gives better radiation shielding than Mars, and there's tons of solar power available above the clouds.
And resources. Can you build things there?
Well, the idea is you could potentially process the CO2 atmosphere, which is most of it, to get carbon for building materials and oxygen to breathe.
Still sounds incredibly difficult. What are the big challenges besides, building a floating city?
Well, getting materials there is a huge one. Everything has to be shipped from Earth, pretty much. Unlike Mars, you don't have easily accessible minerals just lying around.
And if your city stops floating?
That's the long drop risk they mentioned. Catastrophic failure means falling into that hellish lower atmosphere. So, yeah, significant risks.
It really makes you wonder about the purpose, right?
Mm.
Mars seems more straightforward for resources, maybe?
Mm.
Venus has this atmospheric sweet spot, but wow.
It forces that question. What's the long-term goal? Is it just survival, expansion? It highlights different potential paths for off-world settlement.
What an incredible range we've covered. From the lines vertical living and autonomous transforming cities right here.
To how we connect in these new digital and hybrid third places.
All the way to, well, dreaming of cloud cities on Venus. It's a lot to take in.
It really is. But whether we're talking about making Kathmandu more walkable or designing Enneomorum or even floating above Venus, the fundamental goal seems pretty consistent, doesn't it? Trying to create better places for people to live, more efficient, more sustainable, more livable, wherever that might be.
That's a great way to put it. So the final thought to leave you with, as we keep pushing these boundaries, urban design, human settlement, on Earth, and maybe beyond, how do all these different ideas, these different approaches, change what home even means in this century and looking ahead?